Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Oh, yeah, here we go. Hawaii, the big island, volcanoes, getting about ready to go, about ready to blow. Well, let's hope not. But this is, I mean, I'm sorry, but it looks like it is. Here's a map, actually. We got a serious volcano watch. Warnings are out now. Look at the quakes that's been going on in Hawaii. This is just in the last 24 hours, just swarming both of the major volcanoes on the Big Island, including Kilauea. Okay, look at the swarms. You know what that means? They're gonna blow. Yes, it really looks like it. Let me put a shout out right now for noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. You know what? Did you know that gold coins caused the ultimate damage to the global economy back in the 1800s? It's known as the Panic of 1857. When the SS America, a ship traveling east, sank, carrying with it gold coins. Banks anticipating gold coins panicked. The coins stayed under the ocean for 100 years. And it took major reforms for the economy to recover from the lost gold coins. The Titanic may have been the most popular ship that ever sank, but it was the SS America, which arguably is the most economically damaging. Well, what if I told you that these gold coins have been recovered and some of them are in the hands of Colin Plume over at noblegoldinvestment.com. Are you serious? Are you serious? Yep, he's got some, and you can have one yourself. If you pick up the phone Monday morning and call Colin Plume at 877-646-5347, that's 877-646-5347. Tell Colin Plume you would like to talk about purchasing one of those $20 gold Liberty coins that sank and was recovered from the shipwreck of the SS America. Let him help you figure out a way that you can do this, and he's got them. And also talk to him about a gold or silver IRA. It might be a smart investment for you. noblegoldinvestment.com. All right, now look, there's two major volcanoes in the Big Island, on the Big Island of Hawaii. One of them being Kilauea, which, erupted in just lava flowing like crazy back in 2019. Well, they're not erupting right now, but both of these volcanoes are really, overall, the seismic activity is off the charts. And I just showed you the map there. Look at the two volcanoes. Look how much in the last 24 hours, look how much volcanic earthquakes taking place there right at this moment. Here's some of the seismographs showing us the explosive erupting and the seismographs going off the charts. They know something's going to blow. Now, having said that, the Volcano Watch article by the U.S. Geological Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory geophysicist Jefferson Chang writes about the art of monitoring seismic activity and what it can reveal about magma activity below the surface. Okay, now here's something I found out. I wasn't aware of this, but it's good to continue to do research on the end times. Let me just tell you something. Stay on the edge of your seat. I can't help it. We're all on the edge of the seat. After Mike Around the World unveiled that map Thursday night. But the story is filled with twists and turns that often lead to dead ends. But earthquakes are a volcano observatory's early warning system. The first page of action in our page-turning story, it's very difficult to move molten magma through solid rock without making some sort of a noise or an earthquake or a vibration. I'm thinking about the good vibrations. You're thinking about the earthquake nations. I'm thinking about the volcano eruptions. Seriously. Or the vibrations that isn't picked up by seismic meters. So we often hear magma moving, coming before it erupts as lava at the surface. Earthquakes by themselves aren't enough. Each person at the U.S. Geological Survey's Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory plays an essential role in studying, monitoring, and responding to the volcanic hazards on the Big Island of Hawaii. We are all after the same thing: to unravel the clues of the volcanic unrest so no one is caught off guard when the plot turns towards an inevitable eruption. Now, fundamentally, we use observations based on the 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and sound, but enhanced with modern instruments for continuous and more precise monitoring. Each of these techniques require different sets of skills and backgrounds so that we work together to give the public the best information available. For sight instead of eyes, we maintain watch with cameras deployed at different places around the island that are likely to give us the first hints of volcanic activity. We also monitor how the ground is moving up and down, okay, sideways, using very precise tiltometers and GPS instruments that measure changes down to less than a millimeter or tiny fractions of an inch. Now, for smell, instead of noise, we all have gas sensors that are turned to detect volcanic gases. These include carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and others, which let us know how deep or how shallow the magma may be, depending on how much of these gases are escaping to the surface. And for touch, instead of skin, we monitor temperatures by thermal cameras or temperature probes. Obviously, the higher the temperature, the more likely it is that the magma is closer to the surface. But in times of eruption, the temperatures of the lava can also tell us where the flow is likely most active and in turn most hazardous. Now, for taste, which is basically a chemistry experiment that involves the tongue, something no one should ever try with lava, we sample rocks and lava in the field to analyze their chemical composition. Excuse me. For sound, instead of the ears, we listen to the ground with seismometers that can detect vibrations, which the volcanoes emit whenever a fault slips during an earthquake or when magma moves underground. This is where we keep a close eye monitoring the seismic activity on the Big Island of Hawaii. And part of the monitoring and seismic activity is located, and the sizing up the earthquake is the ramp up in the number of detected events in the monologue of volcano. Unrest, large, powerful earthquakes are those inevitable moments people quote with significant eruptions. For those playing around along the who did it, these earthquake statistics seem like a straightforward way to follow the plot. So earthquakes play a major role in volcanism. And so, Mike, when you think about Jesus Christ, what he said in Matthew 24, he talks about earthquakes. Now, earthquakes throughout the entire Bible are mentioned all the time, and prophetically they're mentioned. I even did a television show one time called The 7 Prophetic Earthquakes. I aired it a couple different times on television across the nation, and probably should air it again. I preached a couple times the message about the prophetic earthquakes. I simply know that earthquakes happened at the crucifixion of Christ, at the resurrection of Christ. They're going to happen big time at the second coming of Christ and the resurrection of the two witnesses in Jerusalem in the end days. But we can also go back and look at how many times earthquakes happened also, like when Moses got the Torah, when he received the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai, the mountain quaked, the mountain shaked, okay? And we can go on and on and on and on and on throughout the Bible of the many times. You know, when Jesus died on the cross, that earthquake that shook the Jerusalem tore the veil in half. You know, these are called prophetic earthquakes. Even in the book of Revelation, we're told about major earthquakes that will happen in the last days. Jesus said it in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, as some of the prophetic signs of the time. Not the prophetic timeline, but the prophetic sign line. And that's how you know where you're at in prophecy. The Lord revealed that to me about a week ago. He said, Paul, it's not about a timeline. It's about a sign line. And that's what you've been doing for the last 11 and a half years. That's what I've been doing, preaching here online, is showing you the signs of his coming, the coming apocalyptic signs, or the revelation. The word apocalypse in the Greek, it's a Greek word. Apocalypse means revelation or revealing, okay? That's what these signs are doing. They're revealing to us where we're at in the last days. Well, I hope I've helped you today. This is a very important information. But Hawaii, you're shaking and quaking. Matter of fact, I want to just go to the earthquake map for you guys just for a moment. Here's what's been happening. We just had a 2.5 earthquake in where? Hawaii just happened about 4 minutes ago. Okay, 4 minutes ago. But here's what's happened in the last 24 hours. 3.5, 2.6, and 3.5 all in Puerto Rico. 3.1 also in Puerto Rico. 3.9 Alaska, 4.4 Timor, 4.3 Montenegro, 3.3 Toya, Texas, 2.9 Puerto Rico, 5.0 Easter Island, 4.5 Tonga, 2.8 Puerto Rico, 2.7 Ackerley, Texas again, 4.8 Chile, 2.5 Idaho, 4.1 France. What? France? Macron. 2.9 Puerto Rico, 5.0 earthquake in New Zealand. Is that what you're looking for? I gave it. Oh, here it is. 4.1 earthquake hit France. 2.9 Puerto Rico, 5.0 New Zealand, 3.2 White City, New Mexico, 2.6 the volcano at Hawaii, as I've been telling you, 2.6 Happy Valley, Alaska, 4.4 Chile, 2.8 Puerto Rico, 4.7 the Philippines, 5.3 the Kermadec Islands, just north of New Zealand, 2.6, 3.1, 2.6, all in Puerto Rico, 4.9 in Solomon Islands, 2.9 Petrolia, California, 5.2, 5.1, both in the Solomon Islands, 2.7, 3.4 in Puerto Rico. Then we had a 2.7 and 2.5, both in Hawaii. I'm telling you, something's getting ready to erupt. There's a warning going on right now in Hawaii. 2.7 Puerto Rico, 3.4 Puerto Rico, 4.5 Timor, 2.6 Alaska, 2.7, 2.7 Puerto Rico, 4.4 the Philippines, 3.0 Puerto Rico, 4.8 Vanuatu, 3.5 Alaska. 5.7 earthquake hit the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That's a huge earthquake. 3.9 Perryville, Alaska. A lot of shaking going on up there, that's for sure. 2.8 Sunny Slope, Washington State. What? 3.2 Puerto Rico, 2.9 Juneau, Alaska with an earthquake, 4.3 Chile, 2.8 Hawaii again, 4.7 New Caledonia, and 2.5 Hawaii. So we're keeping a close eye. Hawaii, stay alert. And of course, the quakes are going on around the world. These are just 55 earthquakes of significance, but I'm telling you, we're seeing a whole lot of shaking going on. We're living in the last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ. I'll be at Freedom Fellowship tomorrow. I'd like to see some of you there. It's the last Sunday at that location, the Freedom Fellowship. Okay, it's the last Sunday that we're going to be there. And I'll be sharing a prophecy report. I won't be preaching the message, but I will share a prophecy report. And I look forward to seeing some of you. If you come there, introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. All right? God bless you guys. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you saved?